Greetings and welcome. Thanks so much for coming by and checking out the video, checking out the channel. This is your energy reading for the day. I am Kat, and this is a timeless reading, so whenever you come across this video, it is the right time for you to get this message. So, welcome in for returning friends. Go have your regular seat, get your regular beverage of choice, and settle back and relax. For new friends, please feel welcome in this space. This is a place where the only thing you're going to hear is encouragement and support and love. It may not always be an easy message. Sometimes the energy readings are not, full of, joy and happiness and all of that, because our 3D experience doesn't always come across that way either. So pretending that things are, all sugar and goodness and stuff when they aren't is not effective. Your brain knows better. You're smarter than that. You're not fooling yourself and you're not fooling anybody else. The point is that you can choose to look for the opportunity in a challenge rather than trying to sugarcoat it or pretend that it doesn't exist. I used to be a really good ostrich person. I could bury my head in the sand better than just about anybody I knew. If I didn't see it, la 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 la, it didn't happen. It wasn't there. And obviously, those things just continued to accumulate until I could no longer ignore them. They don't go away. But you do have opportunities always to transform something that appears to be negative into something that brings you courage and strength and wisdom and knowledge and power and peace and healing. So I don't know where that rampage came from, but there it is. So today we are looking at the Earth Magic Oracle Cards deck from Stephen D. Farmer, and today's card is DNA, which represents karma. And I was just watching a video on David Ewan. I keep wanting to put a Mick in front of there, but it's David Ewan, Ewen. He's a phenomenal speaker. You should check out his channel if you aren't familiar with him. But he was talking about karma, and that word can have a lot of meanings to different people depending on your education and experience and background, culture, religion, philosophy, all of that stuff. Karma is one of those loaded words that can trigger some people. So don't get hung up, as always, like I always say, don't get hung up on the card to begin with. What we're looking at and wanting to get in touch with is the energy behind the card, within the card. So let's just take a look at the card itself, and then I want to talk a little bit about karma, and then we'll get into the actual reading in the book. But just on the card itself, very basic primary colors here: red, yellow, black. That is a very traditional color palette for Native Americans, for original people in various cultures, mostly in the Southern Hemisphere, I feel. So I'm very much familiar with this color scheme. I live in the desert here in Albuquerque, New Mexico, currently, and these are colors that are familiar to me. They are just, for me, they are representing the primal basic elements. And then we have the caduceus again, with the staff and the two serpents intertwined. We know that the serpents stand for wisdom, and DNA literally is information encoded in proteins within our cellular structure. And that's the whole thing. Wisdom, information, knowledge. That's what's in the DNA. So how does that tie in with karma? Well, we have different kinds of karma, in my opinion. And this is just my opinion. I don't have a degree in religion or anything like that, but I have a lot of years of researching and actually doing those practices, being a practicing Taoist, being a practicing Catholic, being a practicing pagan. Just, those things I'm familiar with because I've done them. And that's where I'm speaking from experience, as well as just being a channel for whatever is coming through from the universe. We have different kinds of karma. Karma that is ancestral, stuff from our previous lifetimes, as well as our ancestors and stuff. And we've been talking about healing on a generational level off and on throughout this channel since its beginning. This is a very familiar theme. I'm not surprised to see this card, but I don't think this is going to be an easy energy necessarily. So with that, having said that, I also believe, because we know we're constantly manifesting, wherever you are at this moment in your 3D reality and experience is a result of everything you've been thinking, been doing, been saying, been feeling. All of that is an accumulation of everything you've been doing, with somewhere between a 2 and 8 week delay. It depends on who you're talking to, what kind of things you're manifesting. But wherever you live, whatever your job is, whatever your relationships are, however you are physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, is a result of what you've been thinking, feeling, and doing in the past. So there's also a different kind of karma, and it's also accumulative. Here's the lovely thing. We can heal the ancestral karma and the current karma right now in this moment by simply deciding to do so. I don't remember the name of the author. I've talked about this before, this idea. You don't have to be locked into the person you have been. You don't have to keep being that person. If it's not working for you, shift it now. Just make that decision. And that's literally all you have to do. Just decide. You can say it out loud right now. You can say it quietly to yourself. If there's other people around you, you can say it out loud. You can yell it if that's appropriate for you, okay? Or you can just say it silently to yourself. I am now this person. I am now this person that has the perfect job. I am now this person that has the perfect relationships. I am now this person that lives in the perfect house, in my perfect environment. And whether your 3D experience is reflecting that or not is not the point. Who you are should not be a result of what's outside of you. Who you are is a result of what and who you are inside of you. Full stop. So make that understanding in your mind, and make that part of your soul contract, because it is part of that, is healing ancestrally as well as individually, is just simply a matter of saying, I choose to no longer be that person. I am choosing to be this person instead. I am no longer the person who is always in abusive relationships. I am the person that is always in healing and loving relationships. And I'm excited about the opportunity to find the next loving and supportive relationship. Do you see the pattern here? Simply make the choice. Say it silently to yourself, out loud if you possibly can. Words have power. I am no longer that. I am now this. And then say it out, what it is. If it's physical, financial, whatever it is. Do that now. And we're going to take a look in the book and see what the extended reading is. And I apologize, it's a bit longer reading. Bear with me. DNA. Karma. Karma, a concept in many Eastern religions, is a Sanskrit word implying the greater universal laws of cause and effect, providing an implied code of ethics within the structure of the seemingly endless cycles of birth, death, and rebirth, samsara, which we experience throughout our lives in many different versions. The mistaken notion about karma is that it's some kind of punishment, but it's far from that. In fact, in its purest form, it simply asserts that our conduct in this lifetime will determine our next incarnation. It has also come to mean how our behaviors and actions in this lifetime create consequences in a slightly different version of the golden rule. We not only carry out soul's karma into this lifetime, but also embedded in the complex coding of our DNA is our genetic ancestral karma. The double helix structure of DNA contains codes that have been passed down from our parents and grandparents, as well as from our ancestors. Therefore, we have some of the same genetic information that comes from the DNA of very early humans. In this card, we see two intertwined serpents with double helixes on each side. Variations of this archetypal image exist in many cultures, both traditional and contemporary. It's a graphic representation of the most ancient ancestry we can lay claim to, our DNA, the fundamental substance of life itself that provides substantial determination of our life path. Aspects of your soul entered your primitive physical self long before you had begun to take form. While the DNA that you inherited from your biological parents has a physical component, it also has a soul pattern that came together in the creation of you. You are predisposed to follow the karmic dictates of this patterning to some extent. Yet, as you evolve in your consciousness and expand the light of awareness, you can make choices that shift and modify this ancestral design. This is one of those times. You can feel the tug of your soul that is both ancient and karmic, yet you also recognize the persistent and loving communication from your higher self that contradicts the more familiar solutions before you. The choice is up to you. But know that every time you heed the guidance of your higher self, no matter what etheric or physical form it takes, human consciousness is elevated. In a sense, it becomes a choice between destiny and fate. And there you have it. And so it is. Amen. Selah. So be it. That's our energy reading for the day. I'm not even going to add anything on that. I encourage you to replay this several times. There was a lot of information in there. I love you. You have the opportunity and the invitation to take that new path now. Get out of your comfort zone and find that new way. I love you. Have the most amazing day. And ciao for now.